Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at how to deal with XML content in Amplify Fusion integrations. Now in the past we've looked at Json parsing and FlatFile parsing for CSV files, so this will be an example of using the XML parser for XML data, and of course it will have an associated data object. Now the XML file that I'm going to use for the integration is called employees.xml. And you'll see that I'll use this same XML file for creating my data object because I could use the sample, a representative sample of the files I need to process. And you see the XML file has a dataset property and then an array of records where each record is first name, last name, email, etc. So what I'll do is this XML data could actually come in an API call or it can be in a file. We'll do the file use case here. So if you recall from our prior videos, I will use the hello SFTP server, and I will just clone that and use that as a starting point. And we'll create a hello XML integration that will have an SFTP server ingest trigger. And if you don't recall, this is basically an SFTP server component that allows you to SFTP files to it to trigger it, and then it will process the file you SFTP to it. Now, I don't need the FlatFile parser, that's for CSV files, but let's take a look at this trigger component. So it has an SFTP server connector. Let's just go look at it. And you see it just defines basic authentication, and it has credentials, a username, and password. So that's what we're using. The configuration of this component, you could see we used it for CSV files. Let's make it simple and just use it for XML only. And the batch is set to 1, so each file that's uploaded will trigger an integration. I won't have to process multiple files in my integration. So let's save that. So this will run when a file is uploaded, and then what we want to do is we want to parse the contents of the file. And since it's XML, let's use our XML parser, and we'll do a read, because we want to take the XML data, which is a string in a file, and then we want to convert it into an object, an array of records that we can process in our integration. So we need a data object to do this, just like we needed in the Json parser and FlatFile parser. So let's click Add, and let's call this employees.xml. And let's click Next, and the document format is going to be an XML sample. And we'll use that same file that we're going to use in our demo. This will help define the structure of the XML files that we can process. And there's dataset, and there's an array of records. Okay, pretty simple. Click Refresh, and now let's select that employees XML data object. And you can see what it produces. It produces an employee XML, we call that a document. It has a dataset document inside, and then it has a document array called record. So this is an array of records of first name, last name, email, gender, etc. So now we need to set the input, and this is going to come from the file body. So even though this is an array of files, I'm going to grab the 0th file because I'm only processing one file at a time. So I'll set that to XML string, and at this point I'm done, and we can activate our integration on my shared data plane, and then I will get the URL of my SFTP server. You can see it there at port 9022, and I will open up FileZilla, go to my connection. I've already created a connection for that, and I can now connect. So you can see I've got an incoming and outgoing folder, and here's my file employees.xml on the desktop, and if I double click it, it will transfer it over to my SFTP server. There it is, and that should trigger my integration. So now if I come back over to Fusion, click on Monitor, I will see the hello XML that just ran, and I can see the two components. That's the SFTP server poll, and that's the XML parser read. There's the file contents, right? I drag them over to the XML string component, And then here is my employees.xml and my array of employees. And now I can process this in my integration as I would any document array. So in this video, we saw how easy it is in Amplify Fusion to deal with XML content. We have an XML parser for reading and writing XML content to records, and it leverages the data object, which we actually use an XML sample to create. Thank you.